Oh yeah, I kind of go down the rabbit hole for that because I mess around with guitars and stuff like that. So I kind of dig
Who's
that.
who's your favorite guitarist?
Oh man, I don't know if I
You
can
can
have.
only pick one. You got to pick one.
This is terrible. Uh, I would probably have to go with Stevie Ray Vaughan
All right.
because I think he's just and they may change tomorrow, but
So you kind of like that bluesy tip then?
I do like blues music. I mean, I'm a big fan of like Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits.
Oh yeah.
Uh, you know, just like Buddy Guy, Robert Cray. Some of the older blues guys.
If you go towards rock and roll, who do you like more, hard or rock? And I'm not talking metal, but I'm just saying going more rock from blues.
Yeah, definitely Metallica.
All right.
And uh, you know, Metallica, Tom Petty.
All right.
I mean, I listen to a bunch of different stuff, and the other day I was listening to. I found this Who album that I hadn't really heard in a long time.
Who?
Yeah, Who?
The
And-
Guess Who?
Not the Guess Who.
American Woman.
American Woman. I hate that song, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I like No Sugar Tonight in my coffee.
My dad is a huge Guess Who fan, and when I was a kid, if it came on the radio, it was just turned up to 100.
11.
It would turn up to 111, and he would just
111.
he would just yeah. I actually we would drive places, and he would make us play Name That Tune. And so, like, when I was a kid, I mean, I was listening to like Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and The Doors and all this kind of stuff. And most of it was from him. And then my mom would listen to like hair metal, like hair
Oh,
bands,
wow.
hair bands and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a dual education, when it came.
That
to
is a powerful education.
That is
Now,
very powerful.
I sidetracked you. You were talking about The Who.
Oh yeah. I stumbled across this Who album, and I don't know if you like the Who or not, but
Oh, I love The Who.
they to
Big
me
Keith Moon fan.
Keith Moon is great, and because I play some drums too, and
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, I started playing drums when I was like 12 or 13, and I played for a couple of years, and actually was in a garage band, and then I realized a guitar is easier to carry around
Yes, then a garage.
than a garage. Yeah, just had to drag the whole thing around.
Do you know the tune Happy Jack?
I don't think so.
Yeah, check that out. Write that down. Happy Jack.
Happy Jack, I will.
Yes.
The Who, the Quadrophenia album. It's got the
Yes.
the motorcycle on the front. There's a song in there called man, what the hell? I'm trying to think about it. I don't remember right now.
Do you want me to pull it up or?
Oh no, I got it. It's The Real
All
Me.
right.
The Real Me is what
Oh
it's
yeah.
called.
Yeah.
The bass line in that is just ridiculous. It's so good. But I like finding stuff like that.
And Twistle.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Great.
Just phew. Him.
Well, I love bass. I'm a big Rush fan, obviously. So Geddy Lee.
I love Rush. Rush is great. I think that Rush is like one of those misunderstood bands.
I can see how you'd hate them, but I don't know. I always liked them, so I'm trying to think. Sometimes, you gotta pull back and say, would you really like that band if you didn't know about them? So
It also depends on like how you get introduced to a band,
oh, absolutely.
because like Tom Sawyer, I mean that song gets played a gazillion times. And
Yes.
Eventually, people just kind of,
Yeah, I could see it. And his falsetto voice is annoying, to some people.
Yeah, it is. But they're so cool, and the way he plays, Geddy Lee. I mean, he plays bass and he plays the foot pedals.
Oh, absolutely. Have you seen him live?
I've not actually seen them live, but I've seen a bunch of live video of it.
You know what's amazing is how loud they were. My ears were ringing for days. I mean, you would think you'd a progressive rock band like that. Mm-hmm. But they were so loud, dude. And I've seen a ton of bands. I've seen Metallica, and they're just loud.
Yeah,
that's what blew my mind about it.
I saw Metallica in 2010, and that was probably the best thing I've ever seen live music wise.
What album was that? Reload, or where were we at in 2010? I don't even know.
2010 was, I can't remember.
It was the 90s? Was that Reload? Load and all that? I don't even remember.
Yeah, Reload was like mid-late 90s, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was, they did Unforgiven 3.
Oh, okay.
The Day That Never Comes and all that. It was on Death Magnetic, maybe?
Okay.
I think it was Death Magnetic. I think it was
Metallica, I just know the hits. I'm not a big nerd on them.
No, I just always like them. I mean, I think they're really cool. I think James Hetfield is really cool. I think he, as a guitar player too, you know, he plays like all those riffs and stuff. He plays, you know, a lot of that stuff, which a lot of people don't really, you know, usually it's the lead guitarist that gets all the attention. But
yeah,
I mean, he drives that train, man, with the, and it's all downstrokes where the way he plays the guitar, which is really
well, and his
hard
persona too, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's really hard to do. Do you like Pink Floyd?
I do. It's not. I appreciate them. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I like some of their songs. I mean, I definitely. The Wall is. I mean, I love the movie. The Wall was great.
Yeah, I love Pink Floyd. I don't really love every single thing they've done. I'm a big fan of David Gilmour, who plays guitar, and I think he's amazing. And I love, if you ever have a chance, look him up on YouTube. He's done some interviews, and he's just like there's this one where the guy's like, well, you guys did Dark Side of the Moon, and you had fame and fortune, and you went in and you did Wish You Were Here. You had everything figured out. And David Gilmour just looks at him, and he goes, we didn't have any fucking clue what we were doing. Nobody knew what we were doing. He's like, we just played music. We just wrote and played music, and we didn't know what was going to work and what wasn't. Because he was against the song "Wish You Were Here." He didn't want it on the album, but Roger Waters did. So Roger Waters, you know, he finally agreed. He finally agreed with him.
They definitely butt heads.
So I think that's pretty cool. I like, you know, kind of inside information with stuff like that.
No, it is cool to hear stuff like that, yeah.
What is I listened to your new episode today, by the way.
Oh, awesome. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it a great deal. And I would also like to personally thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I got a ton of, I put it out at the last minute. I threw out a tweet, and then I just got a million of them. Like, I got to grab some of these.
Yeah, I did that earlier, before about 7:00. I did the old, I'm recording a powerful episode tonight. Who wants a shout out? And I haven't looked at it, and I probably got a bunch, but I usually record like a little intro, you know, once the episode's done, and I'll do some shout outs in there. But
sweet.
I like the shout out system. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's hard to do. When I first started, I said, hey, you know, if you want to shout out, let me know. And then I'd get like 20 comments, and I would sit here and read them off, like every single one. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. And then I stumbled onto your system where you pick a couple at random, which I think is pretty brilliant. Yeah,
you know, I mean, you'll see as you grow, you get a ton of people, and I want to do everything. I want to talk to everyone. I want to, you know, reply to every tweet, but sometimes it gets overwhelming. So if you just, you know, randomly pick some, it's cool. I think people appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure people maybe, I don't know. Do people ask you a lot of podcasting questions, like advice or, you know, like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I try to answer everything.
Yeah. Someone asked me the other day how I had so many Twitter followers after being on Twitter only since April.
What'd you tell them?
I told them I paid for them.
Sweet.
I don't know. I mean, I've tried to, for me personally, I just try to like retweet people's episodes, you know, listen to people's stuff and engage with people. And I think you get that in return. You know, I mean, everybody starts with 0 followers, I guess, and 0 listeners. So, I mean, what do you think some stuff that you did early on to kind of grow the podcast?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, I try to have a good time, and people get hung up on numbers, and those numbers are all bullshit anyway. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you have 10 people that are fans and listen all the time versus, you know, you can pad the numbers, and it's all bullshit, you know. It's more about people that dig what you're doing and you appreciate them.
Yeah.
The flock of Amish. That's what we call them.
The flock of Amish. I've seen that. I like that a
Yes.
lot.
What do you call your listeners?
I don't know. Gullible. I don't know. I haven't really gotten that far into it yet. I kind of just...
I'll come up with a name for you.
You should
Yes.
do that. And
Powerful name.
I need a powerful name. And I think that, for me, it's just a fun hobby. And I've tried to do it. I do it out of personal satisfaction. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy talking to other people. I was invited onto a live show last week with baseball.
How'd that go?
It was great. I'd never done that before. And got a lot of really good feedback from that. So, that was fun. And, it's just kind of cool to engage with people. And, I think consistency is, there's a ton of podcasts, as we said, popping up during this COVID time, certainly.
What's that? COVID.
Let's see. COVID. I'm not sure. I think it's like
the Rona.
It's Fifi.
Yeah, the Rona.
But what do you think has kept you doing it this long?
Oh, I just like doing it. Like I said, I'm like you. I like talking to people. I like joking around. I love going to movies. Apparently, we can't do that anymore.
Not anymore. It's done. All theaters will be bulldozed.
And that's the thing, too. A lot of people, it's like concerts. Mm-hmm. People right now, they listen to music on earbuds and maybe a little Bluetooth speaker. But if they heard it on a huge rack of speakers, back in the day, it would just blow their minds. Or even back in the 70s, 80s, people had home stereo with, 15-inch woofers. And it's kind of like movies, too. A lot of times now people watch movies on their phone.
Yeah.
Well, it's designed to be seen on the big screen with massive sound systems. Mm-hmm. So I love going to movie theaters. I know it's overpriced and all that, but I like the whole experience. I used to love going to the first showing of a show and everyone's all excited and the previews come on and everyone's cheering and you smell the popcorn and I like that. And hopefully that'll come back.
I think so. I think if we could just, collectively kind of be a little smarter about things. I hope we can get back to that.
Oh yeah, that's that too. You can't even talk about stuff right now. You can't even say, well, what if we don't? You dumb son of a bitch.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's just like the mask itself. I'm not even going to get into it, but if you even talk about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask and people freak out and I don't know.
Oh man, here I live in Joplin, Missouri, and
how long have you lived in Joplin?
Since 2014.
When was the tornado?
2011.
Wow. Do you know anything about it?
I know a lot about it. My wife was born and raised here, and she was living in Virginia at the time, but a lot of her friends and people in her family were here for it.
Wow.
And experienced it.
Because I'm a big fan of weather phenomena, and back when I was a kid, and that Joplin. Wow. Do you have any stories you remember about it, or?
Well, I know that
hearing about it.
Yeah, certainly. There's a really good friend of mine who, him and his wife, it was on like a Sunday afternoon when it happened, and excuse me. So a lot of people were at home, and.
So what time was this? About 5:00? Is that when it hit?
I think it was in the afternoon sometime. I don't know the exact time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I get a lot of those stories mixed up. Help me out. How big of a town is Joplin?
It's like, what is the population? 50-some thousand.
Okay.
Think. So, I don't know, comparative to where people live. It's all relative, but it's a pretty good sized town. And this was around. There was a couple really bad ones. There was one in Moore, Oklahoma. That was an F5, I think. That was a day or two before, I think. And it was a really, really rough tornado season. And here, obviously, tornadoes are fairly common, but people don't take it very seriously, because it's like, oh yeah, maybe it's a tornado or whatever. And, most of the time they don't hit a populated area, very seldom. So a good friend of mine said him and his wife were at home and the sirens went off, and he said next thing he knows, it sounded like, a freight train with an earthquake.
So when they always say that, what do they mean? Does it go chugga, 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 or what part of a train?
From what I've heard, it's just like this roaring sound.
Okay.
And they got in their bathtub, and